Thank you very much. We are here for our next panel for rare diseases with Mahesh Maitani. I thank you for taking your time to speak at Digital Davos. Mahesh, could you please present yourself to our audience?
I'm Mahesh Nathani. I'm working in a company called Prism Science, in which we collect global biomedical information, and which is collected from the basic research all the way to medicine discovery. And that database is global. And from that database, I have now got very involved in the area of rare disease because it affects my personal family and also affects some of friends I know very well.
Thank you very much. So let's start with rare diseases. And you said it affects your family. Was this an inspiration to get in this business?
Yes, it was. It was, and it is, because in the case of my daughter, who has been involved in this rare disease is now has a name, but it took 5 years for us or for her to discover the name of rare disease. And basically, I have not been able to, or we have not been as a family, has not been able to help. And the reason is there is not enough research about it. And that is a big problem around the basically 10,000 rare diseases globally, because these rare diseases are based on not ethnicity, not gender, not border, and it is going all over globally. And that is where it has become a big problem.
So I understand. For rare diseases, could you please describe a little bit about the Hopkins disease and other diseases, how they function for our audience, that they get a more view about what it means and what happens really?
So in the cases of 90% of rare disease, we don't know where it has started and where it's going. So that's one. The second is, in rare disease, what we have found that is still at this point of time is taking 5 and 7 years for a patient to know the name of the rare disease before some treatment protocols could be applied to her or him. This problem is a major problem because on those 5 years or 7 years, other disease morphed in a body, and all of a sudden you start with one rare disease and then other rare diseases start morphing around that rare disease, and all of a sudden it becomes a major problem. So that is one, but it's basically the way best understanding at this point in time of rare disease is that it is either hereditary or mutation. And between those two things, but neither one of them is very clear, because in the case of hereditary, you don't know which part of hereditary started and when. It could be dormant in your body, and it may have been, in the case of any patient, could be grandparents and great-grandparents and things like that. So it's very difficult, based on the current knowledge, to say where it started and where it is going.
Yes, I see. And of course, rare diseases are rare. This means not everyone has it and doesn't get a lot of attention in the world. But this is also a wrong approach to economics, because we saw that research in different areas in medicine guide to results which were unexpected and treat other diseases like this. We just discussed, for example, the research for the current COVID vaccine, which was based on the malaria. Not malaria, and Ebola, sorry, doctor. Please correct me. And this was helping us. The fundamental research for one disease was helping us to create another medicine, a vaccine really, really quick. So research in a rare disease is just expanding the knowledge. Do you have some example for medicines which were used where the outcome was totally different?
We can take about 3 examples. The example number 1 will be a medicine which was created by a major pharmaceutical company about 40 plus years ago. And that time, that medicine was for cardiovascular problems. Slowly, in the usage of that medicine, they found out that it grows hair also. And all of a sudden, it became a hair medicine. And from hair medicine, which was initially prescribed medicine, right now, after 40 years, that medicine is still available for the growth of hair. So that's is one example. Let's take the other example. The example is aspirin. Aspirin basically was for pain. And from pain, it has become about the savior for the heart problems and things like that.
Okay, thank you. So, I mean, we have also the big example, Viagra, sorry.
Yes.
And I speak here because we are speaking in digital Davos. We have a lot of investors, and I want just to bring the point about researching medicine for altitude sickness, having a side effect which was unwanted, creating $1 billion market. So in medicine, everywhere we go, you find new solutions and you have more knowledge. Can you go to explaining a little bit about the economics there behind?
Yeah. Important aspect of economics in this case is very simple. The knowledge creates the discovery. But for having the knowledge, you have to have the basic research. So the process moves this way. You have the basic research. Basic research generates basically data or information. Then the information is taken, and then information is aggregated. And from that aggregated information, then what you do is really start doing the simulations and all that. And through that process, you get the discovery of the medicine and all that. So the process never changes, which is basic research, data analysis, and then discovery of the molecule. And that's the process has to move. But if in case of rare diseases, where there are close to about 10,000 rare diseases, if no work is done, so the knowledge of that work is not goes any further. And that's why it's very important. The rare disease work should be accelerated. And this acceleration will also accelerate the knowledge. And this acceleration of the knowledge will improve the quality of life of humans. And it will help humans to be more productive and less in the pain and debilitating situations.
We do have an audience question from Ravi. How do we identify rare diseases and gather data and value orphan drugs treatment for it? Does the cost outweigh the revenue generated for the drug development?
There is two ways of looking this. One way of looking this is that one could take that point of view. But I think my important point is the knowledge is the future. And the work we do, whether we do it through gathering of the information, or it comes out through basic research, or it comes out to the discovery of the molecule, it takes you further and further. So whether we take in the area of medicine or any other area, knowledge has always provided the long-term benefits. So one could question about the knowledge in the short term. One could question the investment in the short term, but the value of this investment is the same as value of any other investment which has been done in the area of science, whether it's aerospace or whether it's in the NASA or whether it's in healthcare. Some of these healthcare knowledge example we have given, but they have taken some time, 5 or 7 or 10 years of researching all these things and starting and ending someplace else. And that's the example of the short term, basically not looking the knowledge in short term, because knowledge is sequential, which means knowledge always have to move, but there has to be a previous point of the knowledge to really move the knowledge further.
Thank you. I just would like to add also to this. We are living in a new economy. The economy before in capitalism was we own land, limited land is available, land becomes valuable. It changed. Today's value is data, but not data, really, information, and information is knowledge. This is our value right now. It's not anymore the land, it's information. And the fantastic thing, how our economy changed is knowledge is unlimited. We can always create more. It's not a rare thing. It's we speak about rare disease, but knowledge can always be created more. But the knowledge which is specifically and can fix something is really valuable. So everyone can create knowledge, the knowledge which then has the key to power to treat diseases, the power to make a breakthrough discovery. It can only be found when you start to do the research. And this is where in the moment people could invest with an outlook in the future. This is where I believe it would be wise to invest in, because it's not investment advice at all. We have to make the disclaimer here. But when you evaluate a company, the first thing which you look at is the patent portfolio. It's the knowledge. You don't look anymore how much building they have. You look by every tech company, what is the knowledge? What is a team? What the team is experienced to create knowledge? How is it done to create new knowledge? It shows that knowledge drives it. So, seeing this, do you have anything to add to this?
There are 3 very important aspects of knowledge and information. The first aspect of knowledge and information is that even though there is a lot of information is out, but if the information cannot be contextual, the search of the knowledge is very vague. So that's one of the first things. The second thing is people think that if they have read this article or that article, that's enough knowledge. But what we have found in our biomedical information area, that you don't know what you don't know. So there is a lot of knowledge globally, which we don't have collectively in one place. So that way knowledge is lost. And the third thing we have found in the knowledge, that knowledge is sequential. So there is a big difference between the gossip, opinion, and knowledge. So we know gossip is, did you know? Opinion is, you read one article and said, oh, that's the way the world goes. And the knowledge is basically provides you the sequence of information and makes the sequence more important. And as you know, doctor, that AI or artificial intelligence is based on quality of information. And the quality of information really dictates the quality of AI. And that's why it's important that knowledge should be of the quality and should move. So we, for example, the people like us who are working in this field, we don't collect information from blogs and clogs and all that. We collect information from medical societies, institutions and all that, so that the information is peer reviewed. Then we collectively put it together so that as a researcher or as a medical affairs person or as a commercial person or as a consumer, you can look at that knowledge and say, okay, I can believe in this knowledge to go forward, whether it's my disease or whether it's a disease of my friends or my family.
You have how many molecules right now which you are researching actively on and which are in your IP? I hear it was a staggering numbers.
Yes, I mean, the number of molecules right now is close to 600 molecules. And they are basically, we can call it in two categories. One category is when molecule is redesigned. So why a molecule is redesigned? Basic purpose of redesign is the molecule which could be used before requires more efficacy. And the reason is two. One is right now, a lot of patients, a lot of consumers take multiple drugs. So if the drugs are not effective, then you are taking a medicine, you're not taking a cure. Okay, and that's very important that we must do some redesign so that we can create a better efficacy of that molecule. And the second is you discover, and you discover based on the basic research and basically based on the what triggers that kind of disease. So between what triggers the disease and what is basically basic research is saying, you merge all that in a simulation model, and from there you go forward.
So for this, you use AI. How long did it take you to start to train the AI, and how long are you in this process already?
So I started in the process of collecting biomedical information 12 years ago. But as time went by, I realized that the collection is incomplete. And if one could make a decision based on incomplete data, it's really an incomplete answer or wrong answer. So it became very important about 3 years ago for me to say, listen, I must do one thing, which is a basic saying of Socrates, is not mine, and that is, you don't know what you don't know. And I made sure that I start collecting the information from the base globally, because rare disease are not only in certain part of the world, it is global in nature. And that's why it was important for me to cover the information globally. That information has taken me 3 years to collect, because there are thousands and thousands of URL. So you can collect the information, then you have to basically aggregate the information, then you have to restructure the information, then you have to connect the information with the AI so that you can contextualize that information. And that's why that information could be valuable to people. So it's taken me 3 years. My journey is just begun. And why I say that, because to me, the challenge is that the rare disease, basically basic research to the discovery process, is a long process, and we must be involved in that process so that we can accelerate the process and we can help a lot of human beings. Because as Dr. Yu said, that one knowledge creates another step for another area, and that is very, very important. So more research or basic research is done, better it will go. And for that, of course, as you know, selfishly, I'm saying this, but a better kind of funding is required. A lot of government, personally, people are doing here and there, but I think there has to be a process to take this further and further so that a lot more or millions of patients could be cured.
Thank you. And when we see it in the economy, it is a sober investment because you just described wonderful how every investment should be done. It should be based on your research, not on the market hype. It should be based on, is this the right way to go? Should we invest in this kind of research? And for this, you have to have the knowledge. This knowledge enables you to do the right research, to find where to pick up on the research, to pinpoint the researchers which are able to get grants, to drive it ahead in the unknown and to discover. And this developed knowledge is worth the investments and creates companies around it. Is this your vision?
You than me, and I'm very thankful for you to express that way, because that's what it is. At the end, the knowledge is sequential. We need to take it further and further. And hopefully your effort, my effort, and the efforts of people globally will be able to help this process.
So thank you very much. We are coming to the end of this panel. It was a pleasure to have you, and we are looking forward to hear from you also in the upcoming sessions next year. I hope you will join us again. And thank you very much. We take a short break for